You're 23, and the detective across the desk just asked if you're willing to die for this department. Not figuratively. He means actually stop breathing. Bleed out in an alley while your cover story dies with you. You signed up to be a cop 6 months ago. You thought you'd be writing traffic tickets. Now you're being recruited for something that doesn't officially exist in any department manual. The unit is called strategic integration. Undercover works so deep that your own family will believe you quit the force in disgrace. Your academy friends will think you washed out. Your personnel file will show termination for conduct violations that never happened. You'll live inside a fabricated identity for months, maybe years, surrounded by people who'd kill you instantly if they knew what you actually are. The detective slides a folder across the table. Inside is your new life. Marcus Chen, 24, 2 prior arrests for distribution, currently on probation. That's you now. The real Marcus Chen took a deal 3 weeks ago, witness protection in exchange for testimony. He's in Arizona with a new name. You're inheriting his contacts, his reputation, his enemies, and the debt he owes to a mid-level dealer named Ricky Vance, who operates out of a boxing gym in South Memphis. You have 72 hours to become Marcus Chen completely. They give you his apartment, still smelling like whoever he was. His clothes fit wrong. His phone contains 300 contacts you need to memorize, because one wrong response to a text message could expose you. His mother calls on day 2. You don't answer because you haven't learned his voice patterns yet, how he speaks to family, what inside jokes they share. The phone rings 4 more times. You let every call go to voicemail and hate yourself for it. Day 4, you walk into Vance's gym. It smells like sweat and concrete and something chemical you can't identify. Vance is in his 40s, moves like someone who's been shot before and didn't find it impressive. He looks at you for 15 seconds without speaking. You know he's deciding whether to trust you or bury you. The wire taped to your chest suddenly feels obvious, massive, like it's glowing through your shirt. He asks where you've been. You deliver the story they rehearsed with you. Lay low after the probation violation, staying with a girl in Arkansas, just got back. He asks her name. They didn't prepare you for that question. Your mind goes blank. 3 seconds of silence in a room like this might as well be a confession. You say Ashley because it's the most common name you can think of, and hope to God there's not a specific Ashley you should know about. Vance smiles. Wrong answer or right answer, you can't tell. He says Marcus never had an Ashley, always went for girls with unusual names, said common names were boring. Your heart stops. Then he laughs, says maybe probation changed you, makes people desperate. He tosses you a gym bag. Inside is product you're supposed to move by Friday. 4 days, 12 ounces of methamphetamine that will send you to prison for 20 years if this goes wrong. You leave the gym with the bag. Your handler won't make contact for another 6 hours. Protocol says you can't deviate from Marcus Chen's normal patterns, or you'll draw suspicion. Marcus Chen's normal pattern is to go home, cut the product, package it into smaller quantities, and start making calls. You're sitting in his apartment with a bag of meth and a scale, and the thought that keeps circling your mind isn't about the case or the danger. It's simpler than that. You're wondering if the real Marcus Chen's mother is still calling that phone, still hoping her son will finally answer. You answer on day 5 because protocol doesn't matter anymore when a mother calls her son 11 times. Her voice breaks when she hears you say hello. She asks if you're eating, if you're safe, if you're still seeing that girl who was bad for you. You don't know which girl. You say no, you're not seeing anyone. She sounds relieved. She tells you your sister had her baby, a boy, 8 pounds. Everyone's healthy. You have a nephew you've never met because you're not Marcus Chen, and Marcus Chen is in Arizona learning to answer to a different name, while his mother tells a stranger about her grandson. You say congratulations. Keep your voice flat the way someone on probation might sound. Someone tired of disappointing people. She asks when you'll visit. You say soon, knowing soon means never, knowing this phone call is already a violation of every rule designed to keep you alive. Friday comes. You move half the product through Marcus Chen's contacts, people who text addresses and never use names. House to house, hand to hand, transactions that take 40 seconds. The other half you log with your handler, evidence for warrants they'll execute once this is over, if this is ever over. Vance calls Saturday morning, says you did good, asks if you want more work. This is the moment. You say yes because no means suspicion, and suspicion means the kind of conversation that happens in basements. He tells you about a shipment coming Tuesday, says he needs someone to drive to Little Rock, pick up a delivery, standard transport. Standard transport means £50 minimum. Federal trafficking weight. Conspiracy charges that connect directly to his supplier, exactly what the task force wants. You confirm the details. Your handler confirms the surveillance team. Tuesday happens in a parking garage in Little Rock at 2 in the afternoon. You're supposed to meet a man named Perez, load the shipment, drive back. The arrest happens before you reach the vehicle. 12 agents, vehicles blocking every exit, commands echoing off concrete. They're not there for you. Perez is on the ground, hands behind his head. Someone's shouting your name, your real name, the one you haven't heard in 6 weeks. They pull you out of the operation right there, cover intact, case closed. Vance is arrested that night along with 17 others in coordinated raids across 3 states. The task force calls it the most successful operation of the year. You're reassigned within a month. Marcus Chen's mother calls one last time before they deactivate the phone. You're not supposed to answer. The phone sits on a desk at the field office, ringing, her name on the screen. Someone from witness protection will contact her eventually, tell her something vague and official about her son's relocation, his safety, his new chance. They won't tell her he's been gone since before that first call, that the voice she heard wasn't his, that the person who said congratulations about her grandson was a federal agent who memorized her son's criminal history but never learned his middle name. You watch the phone until it stops ringing. The operation's over, but you're still wearing pieces of someone else's life, still caught between the person who walked into that apartment and the person who walked out. You didn't save anyone. You just became someone else long enough to watch what happens when you do. You rejoin the department officially 3 weeks later. Your real name goes back on a desk, a badge, reports written in first person again. The academy friends who thought you washed out welcome you back with questions you can't answer. You tell them it was administrative, a misunderstanding, nothing worth discussing. They believe you because people generally believe simple explanations. The detective who recruited you asks if you'd do it again. Different operation, different city, different name. You think about Marcus Chen's apartment, the smell of someone else's life, a mother's voice asking about a son who doesn't exist anymore. You think about standing in that parking garage in Little Rock, the moment before they called your real name, when you weren't sure which person you were supposed to be. You tell him you need time. He nods, like he expected that answer, says the offer doesn't expire, says people who can do this work are rare, says you're good at disappearing. He means it as a compliment. You hear it differently, because the hardest part wasn't becoming Marcus Chen. It was realizing how easily you slipped into someone else's skin, how natural it felt to stop being yourself, how simple it was to let your own life fade into background noise while you wore someone else's consequences. The real Marcus Chen is in Arizona now, rebuilding under a name you'll never know. His mother still thinks he's out there somewhere, still waiting for him to call. And you're back behind a desk with your real name on it, wondering if that person ever really came back at all. Some operations end when the arrests happen. Others keep running long after everyone thinks they're over.